High Toryism is a term used in Britain, Canada, and elsewhere to refer to old traditionalist conservatism which is in line with the Toryism originating in the 17th century. High Tories and the worldview were sometimes at odds with the progressive elements of the Conservative Party in these countries at present. Historically, the late 18th century conservatism derived from the Whig Edmund, Burke and William Pitt the Younger marks the watershed from the high or legitimist Toryism that was allied to Jacobitism. High Toryism has been described as neo-feudalist in its preference for a hierarchical organization of society over utopian equality, as well for holding the traditional gentry as a higher cultural benchmark than the bourgeoisie and those who have attained the position through commerce. Economically, High Tories tend to prefer paternalistic Tory corporatism over the neoliberalism which took a hold in the 1980s. Views and values. Historical. The High Tory view in the 18th century preferred lower taxation and deplored Whig support for a standing army, an expanding empire and commerce. On religious issues, the High Tories usually rallied under the banner of "Church in Danger." This changed later in the century and many of the privileges were reduced by the Reform Act 1832. In the reign of Queen Victoria, High Tories supported the empire and were personified by the Prime Ministers Lord Derby and Lord Salisbury. Modern High Tories prefer the values of the historical landed gentry and aristocracy, with the noblesse oblige and the self-imposed sense of duty and responsibility to all of society, including the lower classes. Whilst not against private enterprise, they do, however, reject the values of the modern commercial business class which they see as a pursuit of individualistic, unchecked greed that destroys a sense of community and holds no regard for religious or high cultural values. The focus is on maintaining a traditional-rooted society and way of life, which is often as much threatened by modern capitalism as by state socialism. A High Tory also favors a strong community, in contrast to Whig, liberal and neoconservative individualism. One nation conservatism, as influenced by Disraeli and epitomized in leaders such as Balfour, favored social cohesion, and its adherents support social institutions that maintain harmony between different interest groups, classes, and different races or religions. Examples of English High Tory views in the 20th century would be those of the novelists Evelyn Waugh and Anthony Burgess, poet T.S. Eliot, members of Parliament such as Enoch Powell, John Biggs Davison, Julian Amory, John Haydon Stokes, Alan Clark, and the philosopher Roger Scruton. The leading pressure group of High Toryism was possibly the Conservative Monday Club, described by Labour Prime Minister Harold Wilson as the conscience of the Tory party. However, since the early 1980s, the group has been dominated by the Thatcherite wing which opposed traditionalist High Tories. Positioning. A High Tory bears some resemblance to traditionalist conservatives in the United States. In Canada, the term Red Tory used to mean something like a High Tory. It is difficult and unreliable to make comparisons between High Toryism and other political dispositions internationally. High Tory has been more than just a political term, it is also used to describe a culture and a way of life. A High Tory must have an appreciation of religion and high culture. They have historically been either a High Church Anglican, a traditional Roman Catholic, as well a gentleman, and often an agrarian.